One of the reasons why multi-step forms work so well and generate so many more inquiries compared to traditional forms is because they use certain persuasion tactics that are built into the design that basically help more users get through the forms. So they're not always that obvious, but I'm going to point them out to you and show you some of the most important ones to add to your designs. Let's jump in. So just before we start, everything you see here has been A/B tested, so that's kind of what we do. So jumping into the first thing. So when you're building a form, the general rule of thumb is always engage first and then ask for details later. So don't go in asking for the email, phone number, name, all that. Leave that till the end. Here's the kind of optimal structure. You've got a series of engagement questions at the beginning, and the first one is called a FITD. I'm going to come on to that in a second. But you have a series of engagement questions. That's typically 3 to 5, but depending on what the product or service is, it could be more than that. It's always good for it to be at least 3, I think. This brings us on to our basically our next step, which is you got to break up the contact details. And the contact details step is always where, so this bit down here, this is always where around 50% of your users will just bail out. They'll just leave because, hey, we don't like filling out forms, right? So we really need to give this careful consideration. And one of the things that we found is if you break up the contact details step into like what we've got here, so name, email, phone, that works better than just having one step that is all 3. Okay, now the order of name, email and phone, that's for you to decide. You can test that. So here are some examples of that at play. Here's one, and it asks for the email first, and then it asks for the name, and then one last step asks for the mobile number. So that's one sequence, that's one way of doing it, and that I'm sure converts really well. So here's another one where it asks for the email first, and then the name, company name, and then phone at the end. At this crucial step in the form where half the people leave, this is where you really want to optimize, and it pays dividends, right? You can, if you increase that this point in the funnel just by 5-10%, it's huge. Back to over here. So this first question here, the easy question, FITD. Now that stands for foot in the door. So that's our next point. So the foot in the door is really important. You want to start the form off with a single yes/no question, right? So it needs to be really straightforward, and so it's just a complete no-brainer for the person to answer, right? And when you do that, you tap into what's called the consistency principle, and it's this idea that if we've started doing something, even however easy that was, we're going to want to keep doing it, right? So we've already made a micro commitment, and it's more likely that we'll keep on we'll keep going, right? So give them an easy yes. So here are a couple of examples. This is a solar installation multi-step form. You see how easy that one is. Are you a homeowner or a tenant? Homeowner, tenant, right? So if you're looking for a solar quote, you're going to know whether you own your house or not. Here's another example from our friends over at Atomic Marketing. So this is for extended warranties for RVs. You see here, this is just asking what's your RV type. Most owners of an RV are going to know what type they own, and if they don't, then there's a not sure button down there. So the next one is visualize progress to stoke motivation. It's important that as users going through the form, that they get a sense of there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. You're basically fighting against time, and if people feel like this thing is going to go on forever, maybe that's how you're feeling about this video, then they're going to just be like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. So give them some sense of, okay, we're halfway through, we're 3/4 way through, etc., etc. Here's a good example of progress bar at the top, but there are lots of different types. Next up, we have showing social proof to dial up trust. What that means is wherever you can on the form, add in elements of ratings, reviews, other people giving their opinion about the product, because at the end of the day, people these days are suspicious of what companies say about themselves. Whenever you can show a real person, they should be actually real customers, that if you have those sort of ratings and reviews, and I hope you do, then make sure that you feature those in prominent places. So here's an example of one. They've got the at the bottom here, these reviews, all positive, 5 stars. There's a big grate there as well. Here's another way of doing it, which I think is a bit neater. This is actually the first step in this funnel. They've actually just got a testimonial right at the bottom there, but no stars. Maybe they should have stars. On to the next thing. Make it as personal as possible. What you can do in these forms is really cool. Let me just show you. You can basically, and again, this is on the contact details step, you can, at the end, when they're filling out, I was saying about breaking down the contact details step, when you get them to put in their name, what you can do is you can take that name, in this case my name, and then you can add it into the headline for the next step, and that, I think, is pretty cool, right? It just kind of makes it a bit more fun. We find that the best converting forms do this on their contact details step as well. So not only break down the contact details step, but also add in personalization for extra points. So those 5 or 6 different things I just showed you, you should definitely implement in your forms. They, as I say, they're battle worn. We've tested them like crazy, and they work. But for sure, test them yourself as well. That's the point. Don't just take what I'm saying. Take that idea, run with it. And if you have any suggestions, comments, ideas, drop them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be sharing this sort of content on a regular basis. And yeah, thanks for being here. Give it a like, share it, do all the usual stuff. See you later, guys.